Today is day 43 of my journey to 2000, and today I beat an 1800. So we're gonna go over that. I played 4 games against my cousin over the board. I lost most of them, but I won one of them. We're gonna go over all 4 of them, and there's a lot that we can learn. You know, me, you. Maybe there's not much for you to learn, but I'm like rated like 1550. He's rated 1800 online, and he's gone to 1 or 2 tournaments. So we start off with the Tartakower. He says he plays a lot of people that play Caro-Kann. I like this version of the Caro-Kann because this pawn ends up helping you. You end up castling there, and I don't know. I just like it. I don't know much about it, to be honest, but this is how I play it. And I usually castle here, but I attack the knight. I kept the pressure, and the bishop actually comes in as very useful, which we'll see soon. Now, my knight, I kind of move all over the place, which we'll see soon again. But the second he develops this bishop, it takes the queen's eyes off of the knight. I recognize that. I take that, doubling his pawns, giving myself access to his king. And I bring my queen to target the h3 pawn and to connect my rooks. And I was telling him, this is the sort of area in a chess game where a lot of times I'm not sure exactly what to do. And we talked about it during the game and mostly after the game. And here I check, brings my bishop on a nice diagonal. He pushes the pawn forward, which is a mistake. And I thought that I'm going to start piling pressure on this pawn for some reason. And I wanted to reorient my knight over here or over here, piling pressure and, you know, defending any rook attacks. So I go for that. And I considered this move, and I thought this was weird, putting my knight back to its original place. But this actually kind of undoes the game for me. The reason why this works is that I'm saying I might take your bishop, which I probably am not going to take, but really I'm putting more pressure on this pawn right away. Right? Let's say he doesn't take my knight for whatever reason. I could check, and now I'm up a pawn, right? So I don't know why that didn't come to my mind. The other idea is because of that, he would have to give up this bishop, which is super strong, pinning the pawn to the king, right? I didn't like this because I didn't want the isolated central pawn. I just didn't like the isolated queen pawn, right? IQP, they call it. I don't know how to play around it. It feels like I'm going to lose this pawn. Whereas, you know, his pawns are doubled and he has 2 different pawn groups here, right? Like over here, and over here. I mean, 3 different. I also have 3 different, but, you know, the doubled pawns gives me an advantage. And his bishop is pretty much useless right now. But I don't do that. I take a couple of turns and reorient my knight, and I'm still winning. I'm still winning because I could actually play h5, and his rook can't go here, can't go here. Going here would be, I don't know, looks pretty weird. I can come here with the knight. So he would have to come back, and apparently I just break into the position, and I don't know. I didn't analyze this far, but something like this. And this is annoying, right? Instead of going for h5 and ruining my pawn structure, or what I thought was ruining my pawn structure in front of my king, I don't see that. I just finished my plan of putting my knight here, targeting this pawn, and essentially, you know, having protection against any threats. Apparently, right away here, he could have sacked his rook. Because after takes, look at this square over here. Look at this square. He could take the queen, and he's threatening some serious stuff. Again, this bishop is super powerful. I should have put my knight here, right? So he doubles his rooks instead. I move my queen to the side to pile more pressure on this pawn because I'm thinking way too much about this one pawn. I'm not seeing the actual threats against my position because I'm thinking, oh, if I take, you know, if I take and then take and then take, then I'm up a pawn. He can't take back because of my queen. So that's why I basically, if you look at my moves, the next few moves, I'm just jumbling pieces back and forth. Look, my queen goes back and forth here. And he finally attacks. He pushes this pawn, and I'm like, I saw that, but for some reason I thought it was okay. It was a great move. And I push my pawn to attack back. He takes, which is a brilliant move, sacking his rook because he gets this check, which again, I saw all of this, and I still thought I had something. Again, I thought you know what I thought, guys? I thought something similar to all of this would happen. But after this move, I was expecting him to like take my pawn or something. That's what I was hoping. And it's kind of like a dumb plan, but I wanted something like this. I saw this checkmate, and I was trying to make that happen. I was like ignorant to the fact that he's like, he can easily stop that. He just plops his rook there, and I can't do anything. I pushed my pawn forward to get a check to try to do some last minute stuff. And again, I'm trying maybe to put my queen here now and annoy him, but he comes in with the queen here, and kind of ruins my plans. I think my plan, if he would have done a random move, I wanted to come in here. And then like I don't even know, take this pawn and try to try to do something. But at this point, I realized the game is over, and over here I resigned. Okay, so that's game 1, right? I misjudged how powerful the G flank became once he had doubled pawns. Here we go into Scotch, another opening I play a lot. He said he didn't know the best move here, but he played this move. I've never seen people play this. The book move that I've always seen, and I thought is what happens, is this, and then you continue playing. But he brings the knight over. And here I could actually push his knight, well, not yet, because that would be down a bishop. So here I could at a certain point I could castle. What was it? At a certain point I could castle, or not even castle, and just attack this knight. I don't do that. I castle instead, and I play these moves. And my idea here is essentially that I know that with this pawn move, the knight move seemed good, but the pawn move seemed like a wrong move. And I know I could take advantage of it. And yeah, without castling, I'm sorry. Right here, I could right away force the knight back, castle, and then like just be super annoying. You know, maybe bring my knight into the position and then eventually push, and I have like this really strong attack. I don't do that. I castle first, and then I just completely blunder. Such an easy move. Because this bishop hasn't moved all game, I don't know. I didn't see it. I saw when he pushed the pawn forward that his bishop comes into play, but I don't know. It was just bad. And he takes, and the game is pretty much over after that. You know, I resign here. Second game was really bad, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I got to redeem myself. He teaches me about an opening that I don't really know much about, the Vienna opening. And this is basically how it happens. You plop your knight to f6. Your pawn is here. And he teaches me about the Vienna gambit. And the Vienna gambit... I'm sorry, Vienna opening is when you plop the knight on c3 as white, right? Vienna gambit, you push this pawn forward and you gambit it. And we were talking about this before the game, and I discussed, oh, what if you push this pawn forward? And he said, yeah, that's how I can counter the Vienna gambit. So I did that, and the game continues like this. And there's some interesting things that we talked about that makes the game a little different. But the game continues like this, and I decide to essentially take this way, opening up my queen, and I come up with this really cool plan. And the idea here is that the second he moved his queen away, I felt like his queen was not in the game. He couldn't do much, and I thought it was not a good move. And I was kind of right. I bring my queen over. He brings the king to the side. I castle long, and I sack my rook. I sack the rook! And the idea is, after he takes back, which he does, I can come here, and now his rook is pinned. He can't take because the queen is covering, and I'm going to bring my knight and do some crazy stuff. This was my plan. I actually saw this a few moves ahead. Apparently, the engine says, hey, instead of sacking your bishop, you could come here, threatening mate, right? Let's just say he does some random move. This is threatening mate. So this is threatening mate and attacking the rook at the same time. So if I did that and he moved his king away, you know, then what happens here? I think I just take the pawn and I'm just like completely winning. For some reason, it's not letting me show the engine, but I didn't see that. I go for the check because I recognize that if he takes here, Then I have this, winning the rook back. That's what I saw. Anyway, he doesn't take back. I pin. He brings his other rook. I bring my rook. He brings his knight. And then I plop my knight here. And I see that his knight can come in, but I really thought this move did nothing. I did not understand the purpose of this move because I'm bringing more of my pieces in. And I thought I was looking, can I do something crazy here? I didn't really see anything. So I took the rook. He checks, winning the rook back, and I take the knight. Right? He actually helped me by plopping his knight there. And he resigned. So that's how I beat an 1800 rated player. That was the third game we had. He's 1800 on chess.com, but we'll look at the username soon. I don't know why it was showing the review before, now it's not. It's kind of annoying me. But listen, it was a high accuracy game. I love how it doesn't show that, but the other games it shows, right? This was the accuracy. The higher accuracy is him because he won. Look at that. But hey, I was pretty proud over the board. I didn't play bad. And this was the fourth game. I wanted him. This is the Danish Gambit. I wanted this to happen. I never really played it. And it's slightly worse for white, but I mean, we're not grandmasters. I was thinking, you know, something like this, and it just looks very scary. He said he plays against it a lot, so he doesn't take that pawn. So I just take back, defending my center pawn. I do this, and I recognize that this move is better, even though it blocks off the bishop. And we'll see how crazy of an attack I have here. So I plop my knight in, right? I'm so proud of myself. I see this, that he blundered here. And he's forced to move his queen back. And I could check, and boom. This looks great. There has to be something here, right? I'm thinking, let me keep the pin on the king and continue to apply pressure, bring more pieces into the game. Okay, so I continue the pin, allowing his knight to come in. I move to the side. I move my knight, and then I lose the game. The stupidity. I spent so much time thinking. I was so scared of this knight because the knight, depending on where I moved my queen, he was threatening a fork, and it just looked very annoying to deal with. My best move here is just to bring the bishop back. Everything is safe, but his king is in the center. And I'm about to bring my knight out. It's probably maybe bring my knight out, and it's just total craziness, right? Instead of that, for some reason, I let my bishop die. We trade off, and I get a pawn for the bishop. Not worth it. And I see all this stuff, and at this point, I pretty much gave up. I went to the back row, and I was trying to make something happen, and he just breaks into the position and checkmates me. The very interesting thing to me is that even back here, all the way back here, I don't need to bring the bishop back. This bishop. I can bring this back because if takes, this is mate. Like, how crazy is that? So those were the 4 games against my cousin. He's the strongest in the family. If you guys want to see his username, I'm sure he would be fine with showing it. Is a 1758, but he was rated 1800 before. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, his highest was 1932. Jesus, I didn't know that in Rapid. So I beat a 1900. Anyway, it happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Say haircut in the comments if you notice that I got a haircut. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.